Thank you for joining me for another episode of I Don't Look Like What I've Been Through with EJayShonte. I am EJayShonte, and today's therapy session is When the Madness Goes Silent. This episode is about medications that are supposed to help the madness inside of your head go silent. But what happens when you take those medications? One of the reasons that I brought this conversation up is because I was having a conversation with my husband this morning about watching the Kanye West trilogy that's on the Netflix called Genius. And there is a part in the third episode where they start talking about his medications, or he starts talking about his medications, and it made me really sad to, kind of see it. So as I'm talking to my husband this morning about it, and I'm trying to explain to him how I understand about the medication part, he feels like, it's an excuse. Well, I ain't gonna say an excuse. Let me take that back. I just feel like he doesn't understand. So with that being said, I was like, what, people really don't know what it's like taking those damn psych meds. Them psych meds are not a joke. Part of my healing that I had the most problem with was the medications. And before I even start, I owe an apology to a man from many years ago who I was with, and he had to take psych meds and hated taking them. And I used to think he was faking it all the time. I used to give him a hard time. His people used to try to help me take get him to take his pain meds. And now I know why the fight was so strong and he never wanted to take them. I also owe an apology to my clients that I worked with, that even though it was my job to talk to you about your medications and why you needed your medications, when I said that I understood what you were going through, I did not know what you were going through. I did not understand. I didn't even have a clue. So I apologize to those. And my third is, if you do not take psych medications, have never had to take psych medications, shut the fuck up. That's all I'm gonna say. Just be quiet. Until you have to go through that shit, please don't pass the judgment. Watching Kanye last night on a couple of other clips where he was talking about where he had to take his bipolar medication just to have a conversation with them gentlemen, and they were all just kind of looking at him, kind of everybody's giggling and laughing, and he's making like light of it. But what they don't understand is he was making a real statement. His mental health is playing out in the media, and I can't even imagine. It damn near made me cry, because I know with what I'm going through, if I had the whole world looking at me, I'm telling you, thank God for the fame and the fortune of whatever I thought that I wanted did not come, and I had to play this out in front of anybody besides my friends and family. I thank God, because that man has got to be going through a hell for which not even I, who suffer through mental health issues, can even imagine. First of all, I'm not going to tell you about his situation, because I don't know the man personally. I've never met him. I've never been around him. I don't know his people. I've never even bumped into him. So this is not for me giving excuses. This is not for me saying that this is what happened when I met him, or none of that. This is about, based on my experience and based on the hundreds of group sessions and one-on-one sessions that I've had with my clients, this is what the real is with these medications. And I'm coming from my perspective of having to take this shit. So, first of all, it was hard for me to decide to even take medication. I hate medications. I was afraid of medications, first of all, because we have a high level of addiction in our family. So that's kind of scary when you know that our family members, not all of them, have a prone to get addicted to alcohol and drugs. So that was a little hard for me. Secondly, I like having control. And I know when you take any kind of medication, you are relinquishing control of your body to a chemical. And that's hard for me to take in. It took a lot for me to decide medications. Because I was trying anything but have to take a medication. And finally, my psychiatrist and my therapist was like, Alicia, this is where it is, So here I am. So I'm going to be very upfront and honest with you. I have no holds barred, and I'm not ashamed of anything that I went through or that I'm going through with my psych meds, because each one teach one. You need to know what these people are dealing with, or what we are dealing with when we taking these medications, and why sometimes we decide not to take it. So let me start off with the first medication that I was prescribed was Zoloft. Zoloft was prescribed to me for my depression, my anxiety, and I used to have to take that. Now, the key to these medications is, first of all, no doctor knows a specific dosage and cocktail to give you to make sure that you're going to be okay. You start off with a certain dosage, and you have to take it for at least 2 weeks, a month, 2 months for the effect to actually start working. And in the midst of those 2 weeks or that month or the 2 months that you're waiting for this medication to start working, your body is going through some straight bullshit. So my first one was Zoloft. Zoloft made my stomach hurt. So I would try to eat something before I took the Zoloft. But that didn't really hurt. It still gave me a nauseated, queasy kind of feeling. So I didn't like that feeling. So I was told then that I should take it during the nighttime right before I go to bed. So I would take the Zoloft at night right before I go to bed. But the problem with that was it was causing me to have insomnia. So it fixed the stomach problem by taking it at night. But now I had problems sleeping. So what she added to this cocktail, I'll take Zoloft, and then I start taking Trazodone. Let me tell you, this Trazodone, that shit is the devil to me. I don't know if anybody else had that but take Trazodone, but Trazodone is the devil. That shit gave me night terrors that Freddy Krueger ain't never gave me fear for sleeping for at night. I'm talking about, do you remember when you was little and they used to talk about how the witches sit on your chest and suck your breath, and you had those nights where your arms and your body can't move but you feel like you woke? That shit was doing that to me every night. It immediately put me to sleep. I had to literally be in bed when I got ready to take it, so that after I take my Zoloft, after I take the Trazodone, I needed to just go to sleep. With sleep, again, they tell you have to keep taking this shit for weeks in order for it to make sure it connects to your body and it works. That's 2-3 weeks of straight just fucking nightmares. I was like, oh no. So I that right there, I had to cut that because I was still not sleeping. It was too scary. Even with that, I woke up groggy the next morning. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think. So then I'm now taking Zoloft before I go to bed for my depression, anxiety. Then I'm taking the Trazodone to help me get to sleep because the Zoloft won't let me go to sleep. And now I'm waking up groggy, and I really need to get to work in the morning, and I really need to focus. So now I'm prescribed the Adderall. And now Adderall is an acetaminophen. I probably said that wrong. But that's a strong drug. So that has to be really monitored. So that's one of the drugs where you get a certain prescription, but you have to keep going back to your doctor either every 30 days or every 90 days to make sure you're not losing weight, to make sure you're taking it properly, that kind of thing. Because Adderall will have your ass up for days. So you don't want to mess with it. And I'm not saying for days like that's what it did to me because I was scared of it, but I was warned for days. So now I'm taking Zoloft at night before I go to bed, Trazodone at night before I go to bed. The Zoloft is causing me stomach pains. That's been fixed because now I sleep. Trazodone is causing me night terrors and I'm not waking up very well in the morning. So now they're going to fix it with Adderall. Adderall has got me wired for sound, so I'm really good. So now the only thing we got left is my anxiety. My anxiety when I deal with people. I have an intense fear of being in crowded rooms now. I don't know where it came from. I don't know when this came about, but I used to be the party girl of all party girls. I loved parties. I loved hanging out. I loved people. Now, if I'm out for a certain amount of time or if there's a certain situation, I don't know what triggers it. My anxiety kicks off. So now they put me on another medication called, oh God, what was the name of that? Zazapran or some shit like that. I didn't take it very long. That's why I can't really remember it. And that was supposed to help me with my anxiety, Bupuron or something like that. But when I'm telling you, when I took Bupuron, when I took that medication, when I tell you, it did cure my anxiety. But when I tell you the whole fucking world slowed down, no, let me take that back. It felt like I slowed down and everybody else was moving in regular. Like it would freak me out. Like the anxiety would come and then you calm down and then all of a sudden it just looked like I was just moving in slow motion and everybody else and then people could tell that I was freaking, like it's not an outward freak out, but they could tell something was different about me and they would ask me, "Are you okay? E, you okay?" It's a whole array of just bullshit. So let's fast forward now to a year later. A year later, I do not take the Zoloft. That I took that completely out of my thing. They give me something if I need it. Like if my depression gets really bad, then they help me out with that. But you have to keep in mind that there's not a whole lot they can do because Zoloft and any of those other psych meds have to be taken constantly every day in order to be effective. But that stomach, I can't, I don't know. So they helping me the best that they know how with my situation. They took the trazodone and replaced it with Seroquel. Now, Seroquel is another powerful ass drug. I'm not going to lie to you. Cat Williams was not playing. I only have to take half of a Seroquel to get to sleep. But the best part about the Seroquel is there are no night terrors. But I do still wake up feeling a little, I ain't ready to get out of bed-ish kind of thing. And it's also supposed to help me for my depression. So it does help in the sense that when I get up in the morning, if I did like have a dream about my mom, or if I have a dream about my family, or if I start missing my family like really, really, really bad, that does help me in the morning time with my depression. It helps me with that self-talk that I have to give myself. Get up, Alicia. It's going to be okay, E. It's all right. Come on. You could do this. On those days, the Seroquel, waking up from the Seroquel is really, really, really good when it works. Now throughout the day, I have clonazepam that I use for my anxiety, which is very good, but it's also an acetaminophen. So I don't take the Adderall because I don't need it for that ADHD, and that's already one acetaminophen. So I just use my Seroquel, and I don't use, not my Seroquel, my, what did I just call? Not my Seroquel, my, oh my God, I can't even think of it, but I just said it. Where do I use it for my anxiety? I use it for my anxiety. It's a really good medication for me because I don't have to take it every day. And if I'm having a panic attack or anxiety attack, I can take one. It dissolves in my mouth and it helps me like right away. And I'm about to be 110% real with you. I'm not condoning nobody use no drugs. I'm not saying use no drugs. You're going to hear me say this every time I start talking about my medical marijuana, because I don't want nobody to think for 5 seconds I'm endorsing anything. This is for me. My medical marijuana eliminates all of them damn drugs. So I prefer my medical marijuana to any of them. My medical marijuana takes care of my nausea. It takes care of my sleeping. It takes